Japan, commonly known as the Land of the Rising Sun, is located on an archipelago to the east of the Asian continent. A true country of contrasts, it fascinates by its attachment to tradition and by its continual opening to modernity. To the Western eye, Japan is full of surprises. Its capital, Tokyo, is the largest city in the world. It has the largest urban area. Twice stripped off the map, twice burned down, it has been reborn from its ashes. Its urban landscape has nevertheless managed to keep track of its history while continuing to evolve through the ages. Entrepreneurs offer even more innovative architectures, which attracts the curiosity of an increasing number of tourists. Judo, at its origin, is a martial art developed in Japan stemming from techniques of enemy capture in order to inflict defeat on combat fields. Today, this sport in Japan is an integral part of the school curriculum. It is very rare to find private clubs. The judo courses at the University of Tokyo are given by professors who do not tolerate any breach of the rules. They execute their courses with an iron hand. The students train at least 2 hours a day from Monday to Saturday. Former students often subsidize the courses in order to continue the tradition. The fundamental technique of judo is to use the strength of an opponent to one's own advantage. The traditional uniform is called judogi and consists of a white jacket and pants, as well as a cotton belt or obi. In judo there are several belts: white, black, yellow, orange, green, blue, brown, and bicolored. The black belt includes several grades called dan. The latter goes from the 1st to the 5th dan. During the training, the teacher explains a technique or movement while demonstrating. Then the students will perform the randori. It is a form of flexible combat in which the two judokas are partners rather than adversaries, since they must allow the other to work. It is therefore necessary to not block the other, while opposing a moderate resistance to stimulate the conditions of a fight. Randori is a word that means free practice. Practicing under the conditions of a real struggle includes acts of throwing on the ground, stifling, keeping the opponent at bay, bending, or twisting the arms or legs. Both fighters can use any method, provided they do not injure each other and respect the rules of judo, whether they are on paper or simply ethical. The randori is always carried out under the watchful eye of the teacher, who remains available, always ready to help, correcting and advising the person who comes to solicit it. Teachers are used to saying that you have to do these throws correctly, even when you are tired, and that you must perform a quality judo with good techniques, always trying to progress. Every child develops their technique at their own speed. There's not really any typical age to begin. For certain techniques, in particular, the younger you are, the faster you learn. But in training, be it hard or fun, one cannot unnecessarily force it, especially when you're small. Children should be allowed to have fun, for example, with other sport classes in parallel with judo. The najakomi is a technique of repetitive throwing practice. It allows working the execution of full throws without being in a combat situation. At the same time, one learns how to position the body for a throw and is therefore a technique that teaches one how to get used to throwing and receiving throws.
Judo
As in all other sports, I suppose, judo gives great importance to respect. It's true. We often talk about rigor in and of itself, and then, as it is a martial art, respect for others is very important.
それに負けない強い心、そしてそこで疲れたり厳しくなると少し心が揺らぎますから、そこに負けない。そして自分が厳しい環境になっても相手を思いやる、優しくしてあげるというようなことを育む、作るということが大事だと思います。
The maintenance of the tatami is easy enough with a regular dusting and occasional cleaning with a damp cloth. It's usually a fun moment together, done at the end of the training with the students. In Japan, afternoons are often dedicated to sport. In fact, all students practice at least one, and baseball is by far the most popular sport in Japan. Although for some years now, it hasn't provoked as much passion, it remains nevertheless a highly appreciated discipline. There are between 10 and 25 million runners in Japan, as running is a way of life in itself. In the past, it was rare to meet other runners in town. Running was only practiced in places like parks or gardens. Sensoji is the oldest Buddhist temple in Tokyo, also known as the Asakusa Kannon Temple. Most of the Japanese come here dressed in a traditional outfit that can even be rented for the day. To visit this magnificent temple, you will have to pass by the Kaminariman, which means Door of Thunder. There, you will find an enormous red and black paper lantern symbolizing thunder and lightning. Upon entering, you will pass by a long trading alley called the Nakamisedori, which joins the majestic Kaminariman Gate to the main building of the temple. For many centuries, businesses have been fighting to sell their products at a high price. Visitors have a wide array of choice between food stalls and popular souvenir shops. Nearly 90 stores follow each other over 250 meters, open all day without interruption until evening. In Buddhist temples, it is not unusual to find an omikuji, which means sacred lottery. After inserting a coin in a machine, a paper is printed with a prediction written on it. When the prediction is bad, the strip of paper is folded and is usually attached to a pine tree located near the sanctuary to ward off evil. On one of the temple squares is an incense burner whose smoke is known for healing and bringing good fortune. Approaching the temple, you will have the possibility to purify yourself with the ablution fountain before going to pray. An ablution is a ritual purification for certain parts of the body. Here, the mouth and hands are purified before certain religious acts. Water is a symbol of purification present in many religions. It is pleasant to walk in the East Garden, also called Higashi Gyoen, or in the parks, Kita no Maru and Chidori Gafuchi parks, which line the Imperial Palace. On the edge of the paths are many trees. The long path of Kita no Maru Park winds through the vast garden. The promenade in the Chidori Gafuchi Park, famous for the beauty of its cherry blossoms in spring, runs along the moats of the palace's origins. Visitors appreciate these gardens to rest or picnic on the large expanses of grass and contemplate beautiful specimens of cherry trees. Some of the gardens are home to the remains of the former Edo castle. Today, only the moat, 2 turrets, and 2 gates remain from the original castle. The imperial palace was completely destroyed during the Second World War. To reach this one, you have to go through the Nijubashi, a beautiful bridge with 2 arches, which leads to the main entrance open to the public on special occasions. The Nippon Budokan is a mythical place in Japan because it was originally built to host judo competitions at the 1964 Summer Olympics in Tokyo. The Nippon Budokan was first built for martial arts competitions and has a capacity to host 15,000 people. Moreover, Budo literally means martial art, while kan can be translated as establishment or house. In general, all competitions outside those of high school and college students at the Tokyo Budokan take place, like this regional tournament, at the Nippon Budokan. To differentiate the judokas, the latter put on an extra belt. It is red for the first one called and white for the second. Today, mentalities have evolved and competitions have been open to other kinds of sports such as wrestling, kickboxing, and K1. Even if one moves away from the sports of tradition, the Nippon Budokan remains a reference for martial art competitions. It was once again chosen to host judo events for the 2020 Olympic Games, some 56 years after its first hosting. Behind their table, the sports commissioners have the task of counting the points, to fill in the match sheets, and keeping the various timings. During a competition, the judokas find themselves in a square whose dimensions depend on their category. The judges watching the fight sit at the corner and give the referee additional information. The judge's role is important because if they give a different opinion from the referee is obliged to follow their decisions. Before entering the tatami, the judokas can concentrate or relax in a separate room. Created by the architect Mamoru Yamada, the impressive building reaches 42 meters high for an estimated construction cost of 5 million euros. The symbolic clock of the Japanese department store Wako dominates the main crossroads of the Ginza district. Located in the district of Cho, it is sometimes nicknamed the Japanese Champs-Élysées. This is due to the luxury stores, art galleries, restaurants, and upscale cafes that embellish the agglomeration. Many of the world's luxury brands, particularly French ones, are fighting to settle down and find a place. During a stroll in Ginza, you can shop in stores and showrooms of prestigious brands such as Dior, Cartier, Louis Vuitton, or even Chaumet. In order to attract passers-by, most brands boldly compete in the architecture and decoration of their facades. Inaugurated in 2012, the Tokyo Sky Tree Tower has overshadowed the Tokyo Tower, which was one of the must-see monuments for travelers. Today, it is the Tokyo Sky Tree which has become one of the main attractions of the city. This digital broadcast tower has 2 observatories, as well as a shopping mall at its base. It is one of the tallest towers in the world, with a climax at 634 meters. Weather permitting, you can see Mount Fuji. The architecture of Tokyo has been greatly shaped by its history. Finding itself twice in ruins, once during the Kantei earthquake of 1923, and again during bombings in the Second World War, the urban landscape of the city is composed of modern and contemporary architecture, while old buildings are scarce. The creator of Judo, Jigoro Kano, founded the first Kodokan in 1882 with a room containing only 12 tatamis. This Kodokan, which literally means School for Study of the Way, was the third and last place where Jigoro Kano taught his martial art. Today, it is still honored in what has become an international judo center run by the Japanese Federation, the All Japan Judo Federation. It is a large sports complex with 8 floors. The main dojo is on the 7th floor, while the last floor is used to observe the training and can accommodate 900 spectators. More modern and bigger than the previous one, it contains more dojos, some reserved for women, children, or private pupils. It is possible to train on site, whatever your level, by registering and paying a daily fee. Many judokas of all levels, as well as enthusiasts, can attend the main dojo events and visit the Kodokan Museum for free. In the suburbs of Tokyo, the city of Yokohama hosts the largest Chinatown in the world. There are 500 shops in which you can enjoy many different types of Chinese cuisine. Great festivals are organized throughout the year, of which one of the most spectacular is, of course, the Chinese New Year. It was Japan's opening to the world in the mid-19th century that brought many Chinese to Yokohama and made this Chinatown so impressive. The boundaries of the neighborhood are lined by 10 doors, erected according to the principles of Feng Shui, adorned with the guardian deities and colored according to the 5 elements. Behind the Mitsubishi Dojo, there is a great love story for Kendo, which began in 1912 when Koyote Iwasaki, president of Mitsubishi Limited Corporation Partnership, built a kendojo on his Surugardai estate and invited Hakudo Nakayama, Kendo's greatest master of his time, to become master of his dojo. It was at this time that they decided together to allow this art to develop despite the difficult years during the Second World War. Over time, the building has been rebuilt in several places, but it still assures its primary function of kendojo. Kendo is the oldest and most respected of the modern disciplines of Japanese martial arts. Its origins go back to the time of the samurai, where the art of Kendo was part of the 18 martial arts that had to be practiced by the caste of leaders called bushi or samurai. Kendo is the modern version of kenjutsu, or swordmanship, formerly practiced in Japan by the samurai. It is a form of two-handed saber fencing where the use of suitable equipment, bamboo swords, and a protective armor, the strikes are carried out in a real way. The shinai is a saber made up of 4 slats of bamboo attached to each other. It is the wooden version of the katana, Japanese saber, and varies with the category of the practitioner, his age, and his level. The kiai is a cry obtained by a strong ventral expiration. It makes it possible to release the efforts at the time of the strike. In Kendo, beginners are taught to shout the name of the party targeted by the strike in order to develop it. As the student progresses, the kiai will be replaced by a more personal cry. Salutations are done at the beginning and at the end of the course. It is part of respect and courtesy taught in the Kendo. It may vary according to professors and dojos. At the end of the lessons, the students go to the teachers to ask for advice in order to improve. Meiji Jingu is a vast Shinto shrine adjacent to the Yoyogi Park, built in 1920. It was built as a tribute to Emperor Meiji and Empress Shoken. As in most Shinto shrines, it is possible to make wishes or prayers thanks to the wooden shelves called ima. It is sufficient to inscribe one's wish or prayer on the tablet for a small fee, and then to hang it at the portico provided for this purpose near the temple for it to be read by the gods. In the middle of more than 100,000 trees, the sanctuary gives the impression of no longer being in Tokyo. The nightlife in Japan is a vast contrast. There are lively places and others more traditional, more prone to peace and quiet. At nightfall, one can have exceptional experiences, like visiting certain temples and other places of interest, which are magnified by the various flowers and a subtle lighting. Train and metro are the main and most efficient means of transport in the Japanese capital and its surroundings. Just like university, sport is part of the high school curriculum. The discipline is the same. Everyone participates in the correct implementation of the course. The goal of Jigoro Kano was not to teach self-defense techniques, but to create an educational discipline. It is said that Judo presents itself as a global discipline that strengthens the body and the mind, and that is what every teacher tries to instill in Japan. Training begins in general with stretching and muscle warm-ups. No part of the body is left behind, even all the way to the neck muscle. With the help of one's arms, the belly crawl on the floor is one of the many exercises found in judo classes and established by Master Daigo, 10th Dan, in 1970. Since the publication of his book, none of the 15 exercises it contains have changed. We practice nearly all of them with some other movements. After warming up, the goal will first be to work on mastering techniques in a static way by repeating them. It is called uchikomi in Japanese. The first two phases of the capture, imbalance and placement, are carried out without executing the projection. It is a series of work that improves performance and speed. Then we do the technique in motion, the najikomi. This work requires much more coordination in the body and patience because it is possible to repeat thousands of times the same movement without mastering it.
This school is Kaskabe Technical High School. This team training from Monday to Saturday, 2 hours per one day. This team is Saitama Prefecture East Part number 1 team. I practice judo 45 years. Many boys start at 12 years old. And high school is 15, 16, 17, 18, and 3 years in high school. 2 boys is white belt and 12 boys black belt. あとは今度の球種から戦う場面はないけど、これも意識して勉強しないと。
Randori is a freestyle practice. It is not played, or very little, in the physical domination of an adversary. The randori is not a monotonous arm wrestle. It allows to forge its spirit of initiative and to progress as much in the attack as in the defense. Whether standing or sitting, the two forms of salutations are used to mark the beginning and the end of a course, but also the respect and the gratitude towards the teacher and their partners. This greeting is codified by well-identified locations for each participant. The pupils stand facing the teacher, and the most senior student is called Rei. The metro is a simple and very convenient way to visit Tokyo. Moreover, the rail network is woven like a huge spider web that is ready to serve all possible visits. The Tokyo Metro network is recognized as one of the most efficient in the world. It is modern, safe, clean, and punctual. Everything has been designed so that you can locate yourself without having to read a word in Japanese. Tokyo is the city with the highest population density in the world. 13 million inhabitants in the city itself, and reaching 40 million inhabitants in the surrounding area. It is also the most visited city of tourists traveling to Japan. Its architecture is unparalleled, at the same time bequeathed and imposed. Indeed, when part of its history has survived, the other has had to rebuild itself, sometimes several times. This has allowed Tokyo to remain modern and to always stay in tune with its time. Judo is part of this story, and here in Japan, where it was born, it will always be passed on to the new generations with the traditions that accompany it. Even in many Western countries, it is not exactly taught in the same way, or if not all have understood its message, Japan remains proud to see its martial art taught in great numbers with the respect it is due.